Hello, this is Dorothy with Dot Scrapbooking, and I am going to show you one of our new papers in the new catalog that came out May 1st called Daisy Meadows. And of course, you get this is the workshop, so there's the embellishment, pretty little enamel dots, and of course our placeholders for the photos and our wonderful instructions. And here is the sticker sheet that comes with all of our workshops, all of our scrapbook workshops. And it's got some just beautiful florals and cute bunnies. And I got the stamp and thin cut set, which coordinates beautifully with this workshop. So the flowers are the same sketch-like flowers. That little flower is shown there and also on the paper. I mean, we do a really wonderful job with coordinating everything. And so I'm just going to go through the papers real quick with you to show you what papers come with this particular pack. So you get, it's a peacock background and this wonderful floral, and all the wonderful colors that come. It's peacock and glacier, and this is Sundance. And I love the zip strip on the Sundance side, and I love, 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 love this plaid. It's beautiful plaid. And of course, you know, it's getting to be Easter time, so we've got bunnies and eggs, and look at how cute that little bunny is. And there's that little floral daisy again, and there's the stamp, which, you know, just completely coordinates with the design on the paper. So, I mean, you can't do much better than that. And that one has a cute little zip strip too. And I pulled some white daisy and some peacock because I'm going to go off script here. These two pages are exclusives to the workshop, and so they are going to be used in the instructions. I'm not going to use those for this first layout that I'm going to do. And here are the die cuts that come with the workshop. Have all these beautiful floral die cuts that's going to be fun. And that's actually a background with the pop-out bunnies. So pretty cute. And then Peach and Glacier are all part of the workshop. So I looked at this page in the catalog, and it's like on page 4. There it is. So here's the new catalog, which you get for free if you put an order online. And I fell in love with this page. I just fell in love with it. So I decided I wanted to make that. Now I could have just made a single page layout, and you know, that one is perfect for that. But I kind of decided to go through my Make It From the Heart Volume 3, and I was going for the numbers of photos, and I kind of got this idea to kind of figure out how to make a layout, a number 2 page. And so I kind of decided on that idea. And so that's kind of, I'm not following it to the T, but I'm just using it as my inspiration. So I like to go through my Make It From the Heart books because they've got great ideas for both scrapbooking and card making. So I am going to use the peacock and the white daisy and that particular background and texture paper and make 2 pages. I really hadn't set out to make 2 pages that look the same, but I had a major glitch, so I ended up making 2 that are the same. Now, I just wanted to show you this. This is a shamrock that I made for St. Patrick's Day, and this is going to go on my home frame project that I made that uses all these different discs to kind of say what's going on the outside or the inside of your house. So I had to have a St. Patrick's Day one. They didn't have one for St. Patrick's Day. And so I used a whole lot of glitter paper that I had. The gold and also the green was from my stash. And these two, the Shamrock and the Celtic Heart, are one of our cartridges, close to my heart cartridges. That disc is I think it's 1 1/8. And so I cut a circle that was 1 1/8 to cover it completely and used a liquid glue to adhere it. and I used liquid glue and foam to, because Tombow doesn't adhere well to glitter paper, so I used the foam to adhere to the paper, and then liquid glue to adhere to the foam, to the glitter part. So anyway, I really like that Celtic heart, and I had to use it. So that's, I just wanted to let you know, and you can get additional discs, but I went ahead and made my own to go on my frame that sits in my foyer. So back to scrapbooking. I'm going to go ahead and do the cuts for this. Now this is going to, I'm just taking the zip strip off and set it aside because they can be used for so much. I mean, just a little accent piece, and you know, it finishes, adds a finishing touch. So I really love that paper. Did I tell you that? And I love this really strong colored zip strip. That will get used later on, but not on this particular project. So I'm taking the zip strips off of my bunny paper. And the zip strips are a 1/2 inch wide. So you can set it to a 1/2 inch and cut it, or you can just eyeball the rail against the edge, and it's you know, it really does a good job of cutting right on just exactly where you want it to go. So I'm taking an inch off, and I'm guessing this whole thing, I'm taking an inch off of both sides and setting that apart. I really am just guessing this because there weren't instructions. Whoops. Okay, I'm sorry. Trying to coordinate people getting vaccines. Okay, so I took an inch off of the peacock, and I'm just kind of guessing, and I mean, that looks pretty good to me. And then with the white daisy, I'm going to add another 1/4 of an inch to the 1 inch. So I'm going to take 1 1/4 inches off of both sides and see how that looks. I think that's, you know, because it looks like just a tiny little fraction of the white of the peacock is showing around. So there's the, so it's about, that's about right. It's about 1/8 of an inch showing all the way around. So I'm happy with that. That's close enough for my work. So the peacock is 11 by 11, and the white daisy is 10 3/4 by 10 3/4. So there we go. There's my backgrounds. The other thing that I'm guessing on is, I always get a frayed edge with the white daisy. It's just the way the white daisy cardstock is. So that was our color palette, all the dots going along the top, so that you know what colors go with this particular paper pack. And so I am looking at these and I'm thinking, okay, I think those are 3 by 3s and a 4 by 6. And so the banners are, it was kind of hard to figure out what the banners are, but I mean, we're just getting close here. So I'm kind of looking and saying, well, that's probably about 2 inches from the bottom. So I'm going to make the banner like 9, a little less than 2 inches. So I'm going to make it about 9 by, I think I do 2.5 wide. I was going to do 2, but that seemed to be kind of thin. So we'll see. We'll see how it looks. Anyway, I'm shooting initially for, I have too much stuff out. My gosh. I pile all sorts of stuff on my work surface, and then I have no work area. So there's 2 inches. And when I put the rail down, that looks kind of thin. And so, I'm doing this kind of by the seat of my pants here. Now, I'll tell you that there was a whole glitch. There was a whole camera glitch here, and I lost a whole section. So it's very frustrating. But I'll be going back to this. Now, I kind of sprayed the paper with Peacock. I didn't spray it. I have a Peacock shimmer brush, and you just kind of tap it while you're, not with it being too wet because you don't want giant blobs, but you kind of tap it around the paper, and so you get all these real pretty sparkly dashes of ink, and it looks real pretty. I mean, the little spots are cute. So I made this one, the plaid is like 10 inches long, and then the bunny is like 9 inches long, and the bunny's like 2.5 inches wide because the 2 inches just look too thin to me. So the plaid goes down first, and then the bunny goes down second, and then the Sundance gingham goes down on top of the bunny and the plaid. And I just turned it upside down so I'd get it right on the edge of the paper because, once you start obsessing, you have to go for it. So there's the basic design of the layout, and I just think it's really cute. I think it's real pretty. And so there we go. There's both of the pages. So I was working on the second page, and somehow I missed. I thought I showed the splattering, but you tap the ink pen, the shimmer brush, just lightly against your finger, and it splatters the paint. So the cinnamon cardstock there is going to be one of the backgrounds. It's going to be a combination of cinnamon and glacier to back the pictures. And that cinnamon is just such an unusual color. It's someplace between red and brown. It's kind of like a color of a saddle brown, with some kind of reddish hints in it. So the glacier is going down first, and then the glacier goes on top of the cinnamon, and it makes such a nice combination. And just a little bit, there's quite a bit of cinnamon used in the design of the pages. So all those lines on the bunny page that, like the flowers and stuff, those are all cinnamon. And see, I kind of want the little bunny eyes peeking out on top and bottom. So I want to be careful about where I put it. Just scooch it up a tad. I really want his little eyes to poke out from underneath the picture. So the other two pictures are going to be 3x3s. So I'm cutting the glacier at 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then the cinnamon will get cut at 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. So that way I've got backgrounds for both of the little 3x3 pictures. So, love that combination. So I'm just going to build those, and later on I'll put the photo placeholders on the glacier, so I know to look for a 3x3 to crop down an image to 3x3. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it a little bit above and a little bit below, with about a 1/2 inch between. and just enough to show some of the, pretty plaid on the other side, because you're pulling in the colors there, the glacier and the cinnamon from the plaid. So there we go. Whoops, I had it on there just a little bit crooked. Like I said, once you start obsessing, it kind of carries. Okay, and then I'm just eyeballing where to put it. So there's my page, my left page. And then there's my right page. And I'm just I was thinking of just having, I really wanted to do the second page completely different, but because of the glitch in my camera, I wanted to show you the cutting, and somehow I missed it. How is that even possible? So I'm going to do like a 3x3 and a 3x4, 3x4 and 3x4. I'm trying to figure out how do I want to do this. Do I want 4 3x4s? Which is not bad. So I'm just trying to figure out what I was going to make a larger piece that covers the matting of both of those pictures, of all those pictures. And so I'm just kind of trying to do math in my head, and good Lord, it just came out all wrong. And so I decided I didn't like the way it looked. Anyway, but I kind of, well, what's done is done. Best laid plans just, don't exactly work out the way you want them to. But that's okay. I mean, it's just fine. So I'm just trying to figure out, that's why I'm doing all that math. It was really unnecessary because I cut it and then decided to not do it, not use it. Just because I'm crazy. Just plain crazy. And I could have taken, maybe I probably would have liked it better had I made the strips holding the pictures smaller and even letting the pictures overlap some off of the mats. And I think it would have been, maybe a little bit more appealing, but just having a strong horizontal, oh, you would not believe how Daisy is bugging me. So let's see. You can kind of see how I'm just trying to work things out here, trying to figure out what to do. And so, see, that doesn't look cool. I just don't like the way that looks. That is not at all. It's covering up all the good stuff. And so that's not at all what I wanted to do. That just, Beulah the Buzzard doesn't like that one. So I'm going to make some more mats, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mat them just like I did on the first page, and then we're just going to go with that. And I think it's because I made the whole piece way too big. I got too mathematical with it, and just I didn't like the way it looked at all. So anyway, I'm making 3 mats, and then I'm going to use a 4th piece that is going to be a journaling box so that I don't have 4 of the same on there. So I still don't like the way it looks. I need to get rid of that. Dump it, Dorothy. Dump it. Dump it. You can do it. So I am so ready for spring. I am ready for some little spring flowers, and I've got a few things that are blooming out front. I've got, boy, my daffodils really took a hit from the snowpocalypse that we had in Texas. I mean, daffodils are usually so resilient, but goodness, it just froze their little leaves and their flowers, and it's just, I always look forward to my daffodils blooming because I usually get, you know, they usually, you get more daffodils each year. They, see, I cut that too big. I need to cut 1/4 of an inch off of each of those because I wasn't thinking. Anyway, daffodils, during the growing season, during the summer and fall, they're multiplying their bulbs. And so I look forward to having more daffodils each year. And okay, ladies, when you put your cutting board on an uneven surface and you're cutting crooked with it, you're going to get a crooked cut. So just put it on a stable surface so it doesn't go sliding out. Yeah, see, now I've got a curved edge there. So take the time and do it the right way. Silly girl. So anyway, my daffodils took a hit. But I have some little teensy jonquils that are just absolutely delightful, and those did just fine in the backyard. So they may have been more protected, or they came up a little bit later than the ones in the front. The ones in the front come up very early. And so this is where you talk about getting nipped in the bud. That made me sad. But my hyacinths came up. They're out there blooming and got lots of pansies out there. So I am happy. I'm always happy when the flowers start blooming in the springtime. So the glacier and the cinnamon big mat are going away because I don't like it. See, I'm going to try to make it smaller. See, I'm trying to make it work. But, I have a problem. When you have something that's really pretty and then you cover up too much of it, it just kind of takes all the fun away. Those 3 banners are such a pretty pattern that they don't need to be hiding under anything else. So I'm just going to put the pictures on like that and have it be, the same kind of background. Not my favorite thing, but it is a nice background. So we'll just go with that thing. I tell my ladies there are no background police. So that's what's going on here. There are no scrapbook police. There are no scrapbook police even for me. And so I'm just going to go with it and just make the most of it. And I do like that these colors can go with a whole lot of stuff. So that's great. And there's my little bunnies showing up. And then I cover them. See, I should cut that gingham plaid shorter so the bunny sticks out. So yeah, I'm still fantasizing about putting a strip across the horizontal strip there. I really want to do that, but I didn't. Anyway, this is how we're going. And I have a long way to go. I am going to be off camera. I'm going to be cutting a whole bunch of the thin cuts. And then I'll bring them back, and you can kind of see what the thin cuts look like. Now I stole that from one of the die cut sheets, and I'm going to I'll mount it on the glacier and cinnamon and center it under that one picture. And so that's going to be my little place to do my journaling. So it was a 3x3 piece also. So I'm going 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 and then 3 1/2 by 3.5. Daisy, my goodness. Don't know why she's being so insistent. Knocking my hand all around. Anyway. And it could be just on cinnamon, but I cut the piece, and so I kind of want to use it. So now I'm kind of figuring out, do I want to have kind of an offset thing? And that's kind of what I decided to do, is I'm just going to have kind of a corner. So I'm going to put that on the cinnamon, and then the glacier is going to peek out from just one side of it. And so I made that one a little bit different since I flipped the colors. So there we go. It's just kind of interesting to watch yourself when you overdub something, you're watching what you're doing, and you're thinking, I should have done this, or I should have done that. And it's kind of like you're wondering how your thinking goes while you're doing it, and then you second guess yourself when you're watching what you've done. So I messed up a lot of tests by second guessing myself. Okay, so here are all of the thin cuts that I cut off camera, and I also stamped them. And so I did all of the thin cuts, including all those butterflies. And are they not beautiful? I mean, those are really beautiful thin cuts. So all the blue ones come with the thin cut. So that butterfly is really a gorgeous little butterfly. And there's my spring is in the air. And so I'm going to season it, rubbing it on my hand, and stamping it with peacock. And I'm not going to use the butterflies here. I'll use that someplace on something else. So I'm putting my little spongy thing underneath, and I'm going to stamp the title here. And those are all the things that was me stamping, just to make sure, I get a good a good impression before I go for the real thing. So here we go, pressing it. Spring is in the air. Cool. Okay, I'm using my microfiber cloth to clean it off, and the microfiber cloths, I mean, those are really, really great. They work out real good. They take all the ink off, unless it's been stained, like with black. The intense black will stain a stamp. But not a big deal. It has no effect on how it stamps after that. So here we go. And I'm just trying to figure out, since I've got these, and I didn't stamp them on colored cardstock, which is what, they've done. So you can see the flowers, big and little flowers, are stamped in colored cardstock. I didn't do that. I just did them on white daisy. So I'm going to use this one big floral at the same place that they do on the lower corner there. And it's just such a gorgeous bouquet. I mean, how pretty is that? Just so pretty. And it just goes so beautifully with that background paper. So, and I stamped, it just kind of needed something up top. There we go. Just a little something. So the other thing that they have on the picture is they have a portion of the scalloped edge down at the bottom here. And so I'm just kind of estimating how much I'm going to take off. It's not the whole 6 inches, the length of the picture. And there's little dots, little punched out areas that come out of the scallop. And I'm just taking those out, and they're getting stuck all over my hand. So how cute is that, right? Those are really, it's a cute little scalloped edge. But it's just adding a nice little touch over on that side. And so I'm going to take some of my flowers and I'm going to color them up in different ways. You know, I used my shimmer brushes to color some of them. But I also used my stamp pads and a water brush to color them. So, I mean, you could use the markers if you wanted to, or you could just watercolor them. You could use the pencils if you wanted to, and then, you know, watercolor the pencils. I mean, you could color these however you want to color them. And you could stamp them out in colored cardstock if you wanted also. So I've kind of bounced around this. It actually took me like 3 days to do this because I kept on having so many problems with it. But finally got it finished. So here's my shimmer brush. That's my Sundance shimmer brush. So this is one of my newer shimmer brushes. And, you know, this is not the kind of thing that you have to, you know, color it perfectly. You know, so you can just leave some white areas and that would go perfectly with this paper. So I'm just kind of seeing what do I want. Now I colored that one with a peach shimmer brush. And those leaves were stamped with fern on top of that peach flower. So, and I don't have a fern shimmer brush, so I'm using mint, which is also on the color palette of this group here. And so, so what I'm doing with this, so there's my smoothie. I squeeze the top onto the pad, and there's the peach doing the same thing. I'm squeezing some color onto the top. And then I take, this is my watercolor brush, and I'm just pulling some color off of the top and coloring the only problem with peach is the color is so faint, it's hard to get enough color to get on the, I'm trying for more. So it's a pretty pale color for sure. So, but that's doing better. So all the petals are getting peach. And then I'm gonna come behind there and add a little of the smoothie, just like little lines. So, I mean, you want to add a little, you know, little difference to the petals because petals, you know, it just makes them look a little bit more realistic in my estimation. So I've got all these colors. If you saw the pile of colors I have up there, there's my Sundance. And that Sundance is a very strong color. It's perfect for the centers of the flowers. And just a little dab and it really shows up. So I decided I wanted to do the little flowers that way too. And I'm going to add, now those flowers, like I said, they have the mint shimmer brush on them. But I kind of wanted the flowers to be a little bit more contrast. So I'm adding some fern to the color because it's a much deeper color than the mint. So it just makes the whole little flower bouquet stand out a little bit more. So I could have painted them blue. Anyway, I'm going to do these leaves in fern. I don't know why that one blob came out so dark there. That was weird. But I'm going to add, later on, I'm going to add some cinnamon to the leaves. And just kind of add some definition to the leaves and a little bit of, I don't know, some brownish red colors. Just make it a little bit more oomph to it. I think I'm trying to figure out what to put together. Oh, that looks cute. And that one, let's see. Oh, I like that. Okay. I'm happy with that. So the next one is, and it's me having to make decisions, which I'm horrible at. So I'm going to make these little berries, just getting the color off before I put some more color on. So I'm making the berries smoothie. And they actually came out fairly dark, surprisingly enough. And the petals are going to be smoothie, but I'm going to add some water to the top to dilute the color a little bit. And my first blob was darker, just like the green. So that may be a hint to, kind of do it on a scrap paper before you go for it. So I'm just putting some of the watered down smoothie around. And, making it kind of spotty just adds, a bit of a texture to it. So I'm going to add just a little bit more of the undiluted smoothie to the petals. And I'm following generally following the little lines that, are printed on the flowers. So, yeah, I like that. And then these little flowers can also be smoothie. It's kind of fun to watercolor this way. We have so many different ways of watercoloring. It's just so cool. We've got our alcohol markers, which are gorgeous. And I haven't used our pencils in a long time. I love working with our pencils, our watercolor pencils. So I'm adding some cinnamon to the leaf, just because it just looked like it needed something to me. So there we go. Just a little texture, little oomph, little who knows what. And a little Sundance to the center of the flower. So it's kind of fun that you have this whole stamp set here that, you can do some coloring. And you can color them the color you want. And they're really beautiful. Can be used for some of everything. Oh, I'm making a fern center on the yellow flower because having a yellow flower with a yellow center would just not be wouldn't stand out very much, would it? So, adding more Sundance to the center of the flower there. So that was kind of fun. I wasn't really thinking. I was just thinking in terms of sticker sheets when I was doing these, thinking of putting the layout together. But there's a whole lot of other stuff that you can do. Who knew? So there, I've got the big one. I've got the smaller one. And I'm missing a little thing that says today up at the top. And that was on the sticker sheet. And there it is. The only thing that wasn't there is the little bitty peacock scallop. I don't know where they got that from. I'll have to go through my thin cuts and see if there's anything there, but I'm not going to cut anything else. I'm just going to go with that. And so I've got a white flower and some smoothie flowers, and then a yellow flower up top. And the page in the catalog actually has tiny little dots going across the top and the bottom. But I do not have that stamp set handy. So I'm just going to go with it as is. There's plenty of detail on these pages. But, you could take your journaling pen and completely add a line to it if you wanted to. So I'm just making the leaves flat, and the smaller flowers are going to be flat. So, just, you could totally do this. If you got these papers, you could also make a layout that looks like this, and you could just do a one-pager if you wanted to, rather than a two-pager like I did. But you could totally do this. I mean, it's, something that is, not too hard to do. And I hope that you like it. Let me know. I've got, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. And I would love it if you did. And if you want to shop with me, it's my Close to My Heart website is dorothy.closetomyheart.com or dorothy.ctmh.com, which is easy. And it's running along the video there, so you can see. If you want to get any of these products, that's where you can get them. And I would surely appreciate it. So I'm just kind of putting that one there. There's my journaling card. And then I'm going to add some more flowers. And a sticker leaf grouping. That flower looks pretty. I'm happy with that. And I could have used a lot more of the stickers from the sheet because they're so pretty, and I wouldn't have had to have done all the coloring, but the coloring's kind of fun, and a little bunny would have been cute too. Well, that actually would have been okay to put that there. There's another leaf. Sort of matches the other leaves. So this little flower is so it's a sticker. So I'm going to take the stickum away by using my anti-static pouch because I want to pop it up. And so there's Ginger making her entrance. So I pop it up, and then the leaves are going to be flat with my Tombow. And then I'm going to put those little leaves top and bottom. Yeah. That's totally cool. They'll be popped up a little bit. And the last thing that I'm going to do for this page is I'm going to add some of the little enamel gems that come with this workshop. Now the workshop is very, very nice. And I was completely planning on doing the workshop, which is what I normally do. But, I just fell in love with that particular page, and so I wanted to make it. And I thought, okay, well, how am I going to do that with the workshop? So this is what I've decided to do. So because I'm doing this, then I'm going to do the workshop differently. So we'll see how what I come up with on the workshop. anyway, because those cutout flowers are just too cool to not use. So I'm gonna probably fill them in with some color because the colors are so pretty with this whole workshop, but I don't know how I'm gonna make it yet. So I'm gonna have to figure out something. So this video is going to be like 45 minutes, and it took me probably an hour and 45 minutes to do it. So those are my pages. And here's the little, you get 3 sheets with the little enamel gems. And I'm just using my piercing tool to try to get those off. And they're real pretty. They are exactly the right color. I mean, it's so cool that they can make everything exactly the right color. I guess I don't need to be so enthralled with the fact that all the colors match perfectly, but it's so neat. So I'm just putting some of the Sundance colored gems around and the peacock. So it's hard. I can put a whole lot on here. And I try to hold myself back because my tendency is to put way too many. When your piercing tool doesn't work, then you just use your fingers. So I thought that flower down there needed some more help from Smoothie. And there we go. So there are my pages. I hope you enjoyed this. I had fun making them, even though I did have a GoPro problem. But please subscribe to my channel and shop with me, and leave me a comment. Thanks so much. Hope you like it. There's where I started, and this is where I ended. Bye now.